The world's top players are in China for the HSBC Champions this week, the final World Golf Championship of the year, won in style by Hideki Matsuyama in 2016.
It's a tournament that I always look forward to and enjoy, and it's one that you want to be in because you know you're playing against the biggest and the best players in the world.
It's a huge event and I look forward to it every year and try to play well.
It's grown to be the biggest event in Asia. It's not called Asia's Major for nothing.
Matsuyama's victory in Shanghai last year was the biggest title yet in the Japanese player's career.
Hideki comes of age in Shanghai, and the star shines brightly over Japan tonight.
Now aged 25, he's been showcasing his talents on the world stage since he was a teenager. Winner of the 2010 and 2011 Asian Amateur Championships, Matsuyama became the first Japanese amateur to feature in the Masters before turning pro.
HSBC was the biggest win for him. I think emotionally, he might draw equal inspiration from the Japan Open just because it's his national open. It's before a home crowd. The expectations were through the roof. This was a world-class field. It's a World Golf Championship, and it was his biggest victory to date. It was his most signature victory to date, and frankly, I think it remains that way.
Hideki is a very strong player, and he was on great form there. I think he won 5 or 6 tournaments worldwide in about 6 months, and HSBC Champions title there was one of the first ones, so it was the start of a great run of form for him. And you know, anywhere you play 45 holes not making a bogey, you're bound to make a bunch of birdies in there, and then most likely you will have a great chance to win the golf tournament.
Now the challenge for Matsuyama is to defend his title.
I have good memories from playing well there last year, so I'm looking forward to returning. I now know that if my putting is good, I can go on to win, and I can take confidence from that.
Matsuyama will understandably be among the favourites at Sheshan International.
It's a long hitter's course. Par 5s, you can really take him on if you hit it long. Maybe not the tightest fairways, but pretty tricky coming into the greens. But it sets up for everybody. The greens are fairly soft usually. I think everybody can do well there, and you've seen that in the past. You've had long hitters and shorter hitters winning there.
You know, HSBC do a great job to put on a great tournament. You know, there's a stellar field that always goes there. So if you want to play well, you know you need to shoot good scores if you want to contend.
Host course for all but one edition of the HSBC Champions, Sheshan tests all aspects of a player's game.
You have to drive it really well. I think in the 2 years that I've played it, I've driven it well, and every time I go there, I think it's a really tough course, but somehow manage to shoot some good scores, so it just works out to my benefit. I think 8 is probably the signature hole. You know, that big dogleg left par 5, tough tee shot, and if you don't get it in play, then you can make a big number, and if you do, you can kind of change the tournament right there.
You've got to play really well tee to green. The rough's really thick. If you miss the fairways are pretty tight. It's just a demanding golf course all around, I think. But 9's always a tough one. You know, there's the big bunker on the left and with the water on the right, and the green. It's a tough finish.
It's got a great finish to it. 15 is a strong hole, tough green on that par 4, and then 16 is a reachable par 4 where a lot of things can happen, and it gives you an opportunity to press on. 17, fairly tough par 3, and then 18, a lot of things can happen again. You can see eagles and you can see double bogeys, so it's got a very interesting finish to the golf course and to the golf tournament a lot of times. So no,